What is because we kind of need to know this for this chapter and other chapters. What is a three-sided polygon called, AJ?
It's
Triangle. What's a four-sided polygon?
square. Quadrilateral.
Quadrilateral. Square is a type of quadrilateral. Five sides. Pentagon. Six. Hexagon. Seven. Heptagon. Eight. Octagon. Nine. Nonagon. 10. Decagon. 12 is, I think 12 might come up once. It is dodecagon. Dodecagon. Okay. So today we're talking about three-dimensional figures. All right. The first one is a cone. Now, you guys know what a cone is, right? It's usually looks like this. Now, by the book's definition, they would actually call this a circular cone. So, by the book's definition, like any, flat surface that comes up to a, then draw that very straight, that comes up to a point like this would be called a cone. Okay? By the book's definition, any flat surface that comes to a point is a cone. So when we say cone, we normally mean what the book calls a circular cone. Okay? So if that is true, even by the book's definition, this is a cone. Because it is a flat surface that comes up to a point. So we would not call this a cone, though. We would call it a what? Pyramid. To be more specific, it might be a square pyramid. So a pyramid is basically a cone, but it has straight edges. Okay? It's a polygon for the base, and then it comes up to a point. So cones come up to a point, but they... Oh, by the way, this point at the top, guess what they call it? The vertex point. Okay? Which is not a great name because technically all these corner points are vertices, but I guess you could call it the vertex of the pyramid. It's kind of like the special one. Anyway, it's the point up top. Okay, you could have other pyramids besides. This is normally what we see like in Egypt, the square pyramids. But your base on your pyramid could be anything. So this, let's see if I can move a little bit. This one would be called a hexagonal pyramid. Okay, you guys see why? So this is a hexagon on the base, 6 sides, so it's a hexagonal pyramid. Okay, the base is a flat surface at the bottom. You could do any base, really, and just make it come up to a point. But this is still a pyramid too, because all the edges are line segments, straight edges. Okay, and then we have, I should have asked you instead of writing it, but that's okay. What's a cylinder?
Two circles.
Like
connecting
what in real life is a cylinder?
Pop
Pop can, yeah, cans. This wire is actually kind of a cylinder. The wheel is kind of a cylinder because it's got thickness, yeah, because it's got depth to it, yeah, cylinders, usually when we say cylinders, we mean this. Okay. By the book's definition, the bases do not have to be circles, but usually when we say cylinders, they are. The book would call this a circular cylinder, so they would be a little more specific. So, by the book's definition, any, I don't know if I can make this identical, but if you have any two identical bases, pretend those are identical, and they're connected, this would be a cylinder too. I don't know if that makes sense. If these were identical. So cylinder has two identical bases that are parallel and they're connected here. Okay, and what is this called? draw it very well, but it's okay.
Rectangular prism.
Yeah. So a cube is kind of like what it is, but this one's not a cube because all the sides aren't equal. Computer's kind of dying on me. All right. By the book's definition, they would call this a cylinder also because it has two identical bases that are connected. But it's got straight edges, so it's better called a prism. Okay, and yes, because the bases are rectangles, this is a rectangular prism. So basically on prisms, the bases have to be polygons. So that's a rectangular, the most common shape, your rectangular prism. You could have like a triangular prism like this. And just like connect those, kind of sloppy Joe there. I didn't draw it very well. Gotta kind of try to make them identical, that's the trick. Okay, that's better. This would be in the back, so it should be dotted, but too late. Alright. Anyway, this is a triangular prism. You could have a hexagonal, any shape. Octagonal prism. Are there any prisms in the room? Not really. Any box shape, like my desk, is kind of a rectangular prism, but triangular prism, all those. All right. What is this called? Sphere. So a sphere, you remember my definition of a circle? A circle is all the points in a plane that are equidistant from one point. So a sphere is all the points in 3 dimensions that are equidistant from one point. So anyway, sphere is 3-dimensional. Sphere does have a radius and a diameter also. Okay, that's the radius, diameter. Okay. All right. So yesterday we talked about polygons. You guys remember what that meant? Yeah, like we went through them: triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagons. In 3 dimensions, they're called polyhedra. That's the plural. Polyhedron is a singular. Polyhedron. So now these prisms are types of polyhedrons because polyhedrons have to be made up of polygons. So notice every side is straight, is flat polygons, okay? This is not a polyhedra. These are not polyhedra, okay? Only straight edges, only polygons. But they're not necessarily all prisms, like, these are polyhedra, pyramids. What's another one? They can be all kinds of weird shapes, but I don't know if I can draw anything too complicated. Takes too many lines, it'll get messy. Well, you guys know there's like dice that have more than 6 sides. Those would be polyhedron, because they're all flat edges. Oh, there's some pictures in your book too. On page 41, those are all polyhedra. Okay, polyhedra are also named according to the number of sides they have, like polygons. The only one that's different, the smallest number of sides you can have and still be 3-dimensional is this, basically this picture right here. How many sides does that have?
34.
Yeah, there's supposed to be 4. There's a triangle in the front, a triangle on the right, and a triangle in the back, and then there's the triangle on the bottom. It's 4. So In 2 dimensions, we call the 4 sides a quadrilateral, but in 3 dimensions, it's called a tetrahedron. Okay, so you guys probably played Tetris before. You know how all the Tetris pieces have like 4 little squares on them? So tetra can be 4 also. Anyways, this is the only prefix that is different though. So guess what a 5-sided polyhedra is? Pentahedron. Okay, it's the same thing. And this is in your book somewhere, and there's a table somewhere. 6 sides is a hexahedron, 7 is heptahedron, 8 is octahedron. If you look at example 2, B, that is an octahedron. There's 4 triangles on top, 4 triangles on bottom, 8 sides, that's an octahedron. Anyways, so the only thing that's different is a 4-sided is called tetra instead of quadrilateral. It's tetrahedron. Okay, and they all end with hedron. All right. Yeah, the table for that is on the top of page 41. They actually mentioned 20 sides is called a icosahedron. So that's probably going to come up in the lesson as well. Okay, do you guys recall, we're almost done. Do you guys recall what it meant if I said it's a regular polygon?
It has all the sides are equal.
All the sides are the same and all the angles are the same. It's like a perfect octagon, perfect whatever. So, oh, by the way, what is a regular quadrilateral called? Square. Okay, perfect quadrilateral is a square. There are regular polyhedron as well, like a cube. By the way, how many sides does a cube have? 6. It's got a top and a bottom, a left and a right, front and a back. 6. So if it's got 6 sides, what would it be called? Hexahedron. So a cube is a regular hexahedron because it's perfect. All the sides are exactly the same. Okay. This might be challenging because classifying. But there's not a lot. This won't take us too long. We're not doing a ton today. I kind of wanted to do this on Wednesday actually, but it didn't. Schedule didn't work out right. By the way, did I tell you yesterday there's going to be a test on Tuesday?
No.
Okay, well, it's going to be Wednesday because I forgot Monday we're not here. But there's a test on Wednesday. All right, next Wednesday. Number 1, classify the figure as a cylinder or cone and as a polyhedron. Okay. These directions are confusing. That's what makes this a little bit of a mess. So, when they say as a cone, okay, we wouldn't call number 1 a cone, right? What would we call that shape on number 1? It's a pyramid because it's got straight edges, right? What kind of pyramid is it? So to find the kind of pyramid, you look at the base. What is the shape of the base? Pentagon.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to look carefully. It's actually got 5 points on the base. So the base is a pentagon. So the name of this pyramid is a pentagonal. So you kind of take the word pentagon and make it into an adjective by adding the AL, but then you pronounce it differently. Instead of pentagon, it's pentagonal pyramid. So you name the pyramid or the prism according to its bases. The pyramid on number 1 has a pentagon base, so it's a pentagonal pyramid. Okay, what they mean by classify the polyhedron is name it according to its sides as well. So how many sides does that pyramid have? Yeah, because the base is a pentagon, 5 sides, there's a triangle coming up. Those are called the lateral sides. There's a triangle coming up from each side of that pentagon. You guys see what I'm talking about? So each side of the pentagon has like a triangle coming up from it. So that means there's 5 triangles coming up, plus the base, which is a pentagon. So that makes 6 sides altogether. What's it called if it has 6 sides?
Hexagon.
We just wrote it on the. This is not the same shape, but it does have 6 sides, so it's a hexahedron. So the best name for it is probably this, but they want us to name it according to its sides as well. So we're supposed to put hexahedron. Okay, did you guys hear me when on number 2, it's vertex. By its vertex, they mean the top point. It's just one point. And the base, you would just name it as the pentagon. So you just call it pentagon A, B, C, D, E. That's what the base would be. Okay, number 3, how many lateral faces does the figure contain? So I just mentioned this. Lateral faces are the sides that come up from the base. So how many lateral faces does the pyramid have? 5. Remember, we just talked about it. There's a triangle for each side coming up. So there are 5 triangles that make up the lateral faces. So lateral just means the up and down, basically. The base, they usually put the base on the bottom, not necessarily, but the lateral sides are the ones coming up from the base. Okay, so there's 5, and what kind of polygon are they? What's the shape of the lateral faces? Triangles. Okay, on 4 it says how many vertices do the polyhedron have? What do you guys think that means?
How many like corners?
How many corner points are there?
Do
So that's a little bit different than number 2. Number 2 is named the vertex, which is the top point, and 4 is how many are there? Vertices are there? What?
do they want us to include in?
Yep, that counts too. All right, number 5. What is that shape called?
A wedge?
Nope.
A ramp.
No. It's one of the things we learned.
A prism?
It is a prism. What kind of prism is it? It's triangular. Do you guys see the 2 triangles that are like identical and parallel to each other? On number 5? That's what makes it a prism. Wyatt, turn around. Put your book on the table. Okay. Yeah, the triangles that are identical and parallel, that's what makes it a prism. So this is a triangular prism. And we're supposed to name it according to the number of sides. So how many sides? The book doesn't use the word sides because when you're talking about 2-dimensional things, the sides are like the edges. So they use the word face instead of sides, but you guys know what I mean. So how many sides does the prism have? Yeah, it's got the 2 triangle bases, and then it's got 3 rectangles going between the triangles. So altogether it does have 5. Wait. So what's it called if it has 5 sides? Pentahedron. what kind of regions, they mean, when they say what kind of regions are the base, they mean what shape are the bases? What kind of polygon are the bases? Number 7, what kind of regions are the lateral faces? So, what are the bases made up of? What shape are the bases? Triangles. So what shape are the lateral faces? What shape are those polygons that are going between the bases? Yeah, they're quadrilaterals. You can be a little more specific there. If you put quadrilateral, that's fine. The book actually put that, and they also put rectangle. But yeah, I guess quadrilateral, since we haven't got to rectangles yet. Okay, number 8 says how many edges does it have? What do you think they mean by edges? Lines. So they call the sides faces, and they call these the edges. Okay, so you just have to count carefully. The way I think about it is like, how many are on this base, how many edges are on this base, and then how many edges are going between the two. That might help you count them all. Make sure you get them all. Okay, number 9, classify each cylinder or cone with the most specific designation. So give it the best name, and then if it's a polyhedron, name it by that as well. Is number 9 a polyhedron? No, because it does not have straight edges. So there's only one name we're going to give number 9. Okay, polyhedron is only if it's made up of polygons, like flat, straight edges. But what is number 9 a picture of? Right. Okay, if you put cylinder, I wouldn't count it wrong, but they're more specific. Circular cylinder. Okay, it is not a polyhedron, therefore we're not going to say it's a pentahedron or anything like that, okay? One answer. Okay, number 11 is made up of flat surfaces, and number 10. So it is going to have 2 answers. Okay, what is the best name for number 11? What's that a picture of? It's a pyramid. What kind of pyramid is it? Right. The shape of the base is a triangle. So the best name for that is a triangular pyramid. So if you just put pyramid, it would be half off. You gotta be a little more specific. Okay. Because it is a polyhedron, we also have to name it according to the number of sides. How many sides does it have? 4. Okay, what was the 4-sided one called? No, it's the weird one. That was new. Yeah, remember Tetris? Yeah, it's tetrahedron. Okay. 13. What is that? Circular cone. If you just put cone on that one, I wouldn't care. But I'll go ahead and write circular. The base is a circle. Okay, is it a polyhedron? No, so we don't have to give it, we don't have to name it according to its number of sides. Okay, 15. This is kind of the same thing. It says classify it as a polyhedron, so name it according to its number of sides. And then if it's a prism or a pyramid, we also have to name it that. Not all of those are prisms or pyramids. So not all of them will have a second answer. Okay, how many sides does number 15 have? 5. So it's called a pentahedron. Is it a prism or a pyramid? Okay, what kind? No, it's not a pyramid. Doesn't come up to one point. Okay, 18 is a pyramid. That's what a pyramid looks like. 15 is a what?
Triangular prism.
Yes, it's prism. It's got two triangular identical bases. So that makes it a triangular prism. Okay, how many sides does 17 have? Yeah. The bases are pentagons, right? There's two of those. And then because they're pentagons, that means there's 5 rectangles coming up the side, so it is 7. So that 7 is what? Well, heptahedron, yeah. I never guess right. What were we talking about? All right. Okay. So is 17 a prism or a pyramid? It's got 2 identical pentagons on the bases, so it is a prism. It is a pentagonal prism. Which problems, let's do this. Which problems are not prisms or pyramids? Is 19 a prism or a pyramid? No. Because it's got kind of a weird, I don't know, bend in it. It's not a prism. Those triangles are not identical. And 16 is not a prism. It's not a pyramid. 20 is not a prism, not a pyramid. So some of these only has one answer. How many sides does number 19 have?
7.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost the same as 15, except for that one side kind of got split in 2. So 15 had 5 sides, 19 has 6 sides. So what's the 6th side called?
So is that all you put since you can't name it?
Yeah, it's not a prism or a pyramid or anything we learned, so